Welcome back to another episode of the Broken Road Podcast with Cody and Dale. Man, I'm excited for this episode. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to touch on a lot of deep and important topics,
Right.
essential topics. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this one. Um, you know, I've just our biggest thing as Christians, or to me, that I feel like a way to serve God, like one of the biggest ways to serve God, is to be there for others, to teach and to help others through this life and to bring them to Jesus Christ. Um, and I know I had mentioned it to you about this episode. We were talking about what to do, and we were just talking about how what that means to help others and uh, what it means to us. And so I really feel like this has been on our hearts. Whether we really truly knew it or not.
Mhm.
So what to you? What does it mean to experience the love of God?
Well, we start with you on this.
Okay,
Give me a second to.
so personally, like I know, like, and I've mentioned it before, like I I didn't truly like have a good relationship with God, until a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
to where I really kind of understood what God's love was for me. I talked about how I kind of felt angry and abandoned by God or whatever. And so I didn't really experience that love until I kind of let Him. Um, and to me, it was kind of go like, if I could sum it up, imagine being in a place that is so hopeless. Like it's just an awful place to be where there's no hope and constant anger and all these emotions, and then going to a place that is completely overwhelming with just not an understanding but a sense of like satisfaction, but not a satisfaction of this world, but like I don't really have the right words to explain it. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
like an okayness with everything, peace
Mm-hmm.
with everything,
It's like regardless what happens.
regardless what has happens and what does. It's okay, and it gives you hope, you know, in this life and for what's to come. So, like, do you have a scenario like? Can you think of a time like when you okay, so when you wasn't close with God or something, when you was living out from Him,
Mm-hmm.
like what that felt like compared to what it's like living for Him now? Like, can you explain like the feeling and how He like changed your perspective and emotions toward things?
Yeah. So I'd say probably well, it was about 6 years ago or 7 years ago. I was just working, just kind of living life. I've always believed in God, but it wasn't until about that point when I got serious about serving God and following God. So I was living in sin, had
Mm.
had sin in my life, and things that had me locked down, like lock. What's the word? Bind, bound. I
Tied
was
down,
bound in
yeah.
sin. There we go. Uh, and with a few things really heavily. And when God, like, when I surrendered all to God, truly surrendered all from my heart and also everything in my life, physical things in my life, surrendered it all to Him. The freedom that He gave me, so the feelings I felt when I was walking in sin, bound by sin, just not a lot of hope. I would say I was motivated because I was motivated with work and
But motivated with worldly
for
things.
worldly things, and by the world's standards, I was doing okay. But at night, when I was laying in bed and stuff, I just felt alone. Didn't have peace. Yeah, and so whenever I finally surrendered those things, the specific freedom that He gave me from a few of those areas,
A hole had been filled.
the hole was filled, the chains were broken.
Right. And I know that seems like
Just
a easy thing and
cliches.
cliche thing to say, but it's some things you just you don't know how to put into words. Like it's not something that
Yeah.
you can experience from this world. Like it's not a worldly thing that he gives to you. And like I could say that like you saying that made me think of like growing up and stuff. That feeling of being alone is a huge like shadow and a huge
Mm-hmm.
like grip that it held on me, and I feel like that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, anyone that's apart from God.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like it made me to the point to where like I didn't want nobody like around. Like I was straight up convinced that nobody understood, nobody knew what I was going through. Like I grew up with great parents and a great sibling and great family. Like I never felt like different in their when I was around them or in their presence.
Yeah.
But I could I knew like the obviously when I go out into the world how I was viewed differently, and how that would make me feel. And I knew it weighed a toll on everybody around me too. Not and I know they would never admit that, I'm sure even you've had experiences, and I know Chloe, my wife, has had experience, and I cannot express the amount of love and like acceptance that I've gotten from people in my life, and I am blessed beyond measure to have that. But where I'm going with this is like that feeling of being alone and living in that area where I'm not with God made me feel even more that alone because no matter when something would happen and they would try to come, and I still struggle with this from time to time, is when they would try to help and come talk, and I would be like, you don't understand, like don't like I even though they were just helping me. So if I would have opened my eyes, or if I would have known what I do now and having Jesus truly in my heart, you know who knows, what kind of blessings and things I could have, seen or witnessed if I would have found that and accepted him sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's like the whole love of God. Like, I feel like the biggest thing that we seek in this life is love. Like, and I'm talking about everybody. I feel like I'm not saying like just believers or Christians. Like, I feel like everybody, to some extent, like the goal in this life is around love. Like whether it's to love somebody, to be loved by someone, to love something,
Mm-hmm.
or like love is always like seems to be the thing.
It's like the driving
It's
factor.
the driving factor, motivator. And so like but I just want people to understand and like to realize that it doesn't matter. Like I don't know you guys' situations, like the people who's listening, but it doesn't matter what situation you're currently in or what you're chasing. Like there is love waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's literally just waiting for you.
Yeah, it says he stands at the door and knocks.
Yeah.
He's knocking at the door of everyone's heart because he doesn't want one to perish.
And like I get it. Like I know a lot of your guys' answers to that is gonna be like, but that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And I get that, but like I'm telling you right now, if you accept his love that he is offering to you, then all this love like around you in this world, like for one, what's truly love and what's truly good, it will be like exalted. I believe like will be even more prominent
Mm-hmm.
to you, and all the things that are not, are gonna fade away and they're gonna leave you. And so like I feel like that love that God gives to you is yours. Like it's all you have to do is take it. And I promise, like, and I'm speaking from personal experience. When I accepted the love of Jesus Christ, everything else like just became so clear, and not clear in the sense that I understand everything that happens because I don't
Yeah.
any by any chance,
Yeah.
but being able to have hope, like that's a kind of love that's not going to be found
Mm-hmm.
anywhere on this earth and can't be filled like you talked about.
Yeah. So I had a thought pop in my head while you were talking about God's love and stuff, and I don't know if this is from God or from me, but I'm sure there's some people out there that think like, oh, God's just a God of wrath, or if I'm not this perfect person, He's just going to destroy me like He destroyed all the sinners with the flood. And all there's so many instances in the Bible where God did wipe out
Right.
nations in the flooding that wiped out everyone except for just a handful. But ultimately, it's because he's a God of love.
Right.
I mean, he's a God of love, but also he's a jealous God. He wants us to accept it and turn to him. But anyway.
And it's just like, and we won't get into this a whole lot, but like, we're both parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we love our children. And when we try to correct them and teach them, that's not us being awful. Like, that's not us being mean and cruel.
Yeah, it's just because we
We
care for
care
them.
and we love them,
Yeah.
and we want them to be okay and to be safe and, to live a good life.
And it's biblical. The Bible tells us to discipline our child. God disciplines us.
And that's it. Exactly. That's He is our Father.
Mm-hmm.
We go through these times where it feels like, God, you're being so mean to me right now.
Yeah.
I'm going through all these awful things. Like, people always say that you're a God of love and that you're so great, but you're being pretty mean right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if we can get that out of our minds, like, no, that is love.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way he shows us.
I mean, that, like, and I think, like, oftentimes, like, we're afraid to think of him as a father.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, like, he's God. Like, he's almighty. He's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. How could the God that created the universe feel like a father?
But, and I feel like once you have Jesus Christ in your heart, like, that feeling is something that, it's like, you can get emotional sometimes just thinking about how great God has been to you. And,
Mm-hmm.
like, like, you can call on him. Like, he's your father. Like, that's what
Yeah.
he's here for. So yeah, I mean, now that we went down that road a little bit, um, I I wanted to, like, this video or this podcast, this episode. I really feel strongly about it. And like I said, I don't know who's all is listening to this or what situation everybody's going through, but I just want you to know that you're not hopeless. Like, there's hope for you. So Cody, like, what can you say? Like, what to you, if somebody comes to you needing help, like, if they come to you and say, I just don't know, I'm going through all this stuff, like, if they come to you for help and wanting to know what God is like, what it's like to have Jesus, like, what is something that you would immediately go to, or what do you think of immediately?
Well, for me, well, it kind of depends on the specifics, but
Right.
just kind of in general, the freedom that God offered and gave, excuse me, gave me when which we kind of talked about this, finally surrendered it all. The overwhelming peace and not feeling ashamed from my guilt of sin. So I would definitely talk to him about that, but I wouldn't sugarcoat anything.
All right.
Definitely warn people that yeah, um, you'll be given peace that passes all understanding and grace and mercy each day. But choosing to follow God is a commitment that it means some days, most days, you're gonna have to fight. Uh, just because the devil is seeking to devour those who love God. But yeah, I would just open the Bible and pull out verses like Romans 10:9 and what would you specifically refer to if someone asks you for help? Just if they're just lost in life, not really having purpose or.
To me, and I get that we're talking about all these great things,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of great things that comes with serving God and choosing to live for Him. But that, I mean, obviously, that's not, for one, that shouldn't be our focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not to get the rewards.
Right. Like, that's not what you should be in for.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ died on the cross
Mm-hmm.
for me and you, so that we could have hope.
Yeah.
Um, and, like, that's a gift. That in itself, that love right there, is a gift that can never ever ever be unmatched.
Yeah. Supernatural.
Yeah. Uh, but it's important to realize, though, and, like, we're sitting here telling how it's helped us and stuff. But the second that we accepted Christ into our life, it didn't end. Like,
No.
our struggles and all these hard things, they didn't end. In fact, in some cases, they might even get harder.
Yeah.
And more often, and
Yeah.
and stronger. But I will say when it happens now, I have hope.
Eternal hope.
Eternal
That's the
hope.
key.
That's the thing. It's not hope like that you hope you're gonna have a good day tomorrow. It's like it's hope that one day, whenever that day comes, you're never ever ever gonna have to feel these things again.
Yeah, one day the righteous God is going to justify.
But and I will say that like where I was going with that is now when those things happen, like I can be okay after it. Like not all the time. Like obviously like there's times where I don't want nothing to do with it. I doubt and I question and I go through all these things. But there's a difference inside me because even though when I doubt these things or when I go through these things, I know where God stands for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that I'm gonna be okay, and that I will get through this. I'll find the answer. He's gonna show me the answer, and we'll move on.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I was literally hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't looking forward to tomorrow. I wasn't looking forward to what's to come because I had no hope for things to get better or for things to change because I didn't have the love of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, to answer your question, with all of that comes is peace.
Yeah.
And I feel like to me, like that is a huge thing to me. Peace, the peace that God gives to you is like extremely, extremely comforting and real.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not going to be found in the bottom of a bottle. It's not going to be found in worldly things or in other people.
Right.
And like that has been something that has stuck with me, like, and not only like having peace like from day to day things, but having peace in yourself. Like for me personally, like coming from not being okay with myself and the situation I'm in, but now I have a peace and uh, acceptance for that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
God doesn't make mistakes. You're going through this situation. You're going through this life for a reason.
Yeah, that's a big thing right there.
Yeah. Like you're not hopeless.
Yeah.
I was listening to some music the other day, and the main story, like main message in the song was, "You're not hopeless. You're just another one of His miracles in the works."
Hmm. That's pretty good.
And that's like when I heard that, I was like, "Oh wow,"
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't matter what you're going through right now. It doesn't matter if it's stress or depression or anxiety or sickness. God is capable. There is nothing that He cannot do. No matter what situation it is, you can have hope and peace. And it's not something that I can sit here and easily explain to you what that is or what it looks like.
Right.
You just gotta try it. Like,
Yeah. You gotta find out for
you just
yourself.
gotta find out for yourself. But that's how great it is because like there's nothing like I can compare it to in this world.
Yeah, if we could, then how great would it really be?
Right.
Yeah.
But like just think about that. Like whatever situation you're in right now, just wait. Like you're just one of His miracles in His work.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not we don't know how that's gonna end up. And to us it might not end up the way that we expect it to or like it to. But if you have Christ in your heart, I truly believe with everything in me that He will find a way to show everybody how great and how powerful His love is. That's to me that's what pain, there's beauty in the pain, or there's purpose in the pain, there's beauty in the struggle. Like you can do something amazing for God. There's hope for you to be okay. It's not over for you. And even if, and we talked about it before, like when stuff doesn't go our way or how we think it, is to go, like, that doesn't mean that it's wrong. Like, God does not make mistakes. Like, and that's how if, how something I have to tell myself is, because it's easy to say, like, in living in this world, it's very easy to fall to this world's standards or to want to be accepted
Mm-hmm.
by this world. And that's just not the case. Like, and it's easy to say, like, something's wrong with me, whether it's, and I'm not just talking about me directly, like, anybody can relate to this, I feel like, in some sort of way
Yeah.
with whatever, it is you might be going through. Like, it's just important to remember that God does not make mistakes. You are not a mistake. There's a purpose. There's reason
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, I just want to throw in there. Oh, yeah, God doesn't make mistakes. Sometimes our hopeless situations, or seemingly hopeless situations, are caused by the free will choices we make.
Mhm.
We put ourselves in those situations. But the beautiful thing that I've found so far, no matter how many times I put myself in those hopeless situations because of the choices I made, like God's still there to draw me back and accept me,
Yeah,
even though it was my like I'm just saying, like, there is consequences for our bad decisions and our
absolutely.
sin, but God's still there drawing us back to Him. Even though He gives us free will, lets us
Right.
choose, but He's still waiting for us and drawing us back to Him. I just think that's a miracle in itself. It's
And
amazing.
you said acceptance. That is something that I have searched for literally my entire life,
Mm.
and I still do to an extent.
Mm.
And I'm trying not to, because obviously we shouldn't try to please this world.
Right.
Like, that's not what we're here for. God has way greater things for us than what's in this world.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not talking down on this world, because we can do great things in this world for Him.
Mm-hmm.
But acceptance is like something that I feel we all strive for. Whether it's to be like socially accepted, or accepted into a group, or accepted into a family, or whatever
Yeah.
that may be, like
Accepted by your spouse
your spouse
sometimes. Yeah.
sometimes, or people you work with, or whatever the case may be. Like, you are accepted by God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not something to just take light. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, there's so many people, and I've heard it so many times that, like, oh, I'll come to church. I just gotta get a few things fixed first, or get a few things right first. It's just like, no, you're
Wait.
missing the point.
Yeah.
He accepts you the way you are. He'll clean that stuff up later.
Yeah.
Just choose him now, and he'll help you fix the rest and deal with the
Right.
rest. I mean, he immediately, when you accept him, he immediately blots those sins from his mind. But then he's gonna help you.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing that instantly comes to my mind when we talk about this, I mean, you can look in the Bible
Hmm.
and see this perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Like, and you can help me with this if you want.
Hmm.
Like Saul, he killed God's people,
Yeah, literally persecuted Christians. A lot of Christians.
and then look what he did. Look
Yeah.
what God did.
Hmm.
If he accepted somebody that literally killed his people and turned him into somebody that was able to serve him, like, and touch so many people. He was able to use this man to do so much work. So why for a second would you think that he can't do the same thing for you?
Hmm.
And on the flip side of that, right? We often think, like you had just mentioned, like God's not going to accept us right now. I'm telling you right now, He accepted you when Jesus Christ died on that cross. He accepted you, and even before that.
Hmm.
So that, to me, like, I get it how we all feel that, and I'm not like saying that you like, I'm not like, I don't know, like discrediting, like, for people that feel that way. Like, I'm not like degrading people that feel that way, because
Oh yeah, it's a real thing.
it's
It's a
real.
real struggle.
But now, being on this side, like, I just want people to know, like, you're accepted.
Yeah.
I'm accepted. Like, and that was like, once I grasped that, like, it's like all of the biggest problems to me in this world were so little now.
Because they're of this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just like, that is just huge to me. Like, just know that whatever baggage you're carrying right now, it don't matter. Like, here's something that I like to say is, like, God's not looking at you in a worldly way. He doesn't see you like I see you. He doesn't see you like anybody else sees you. He sees you for what you can be. He knows you. He knows the plans that he has for you. We just have to let him.
Hmm.
And it's simple. Like, a lot of times we think it's this big ordeal. Like, no, it's simple.
So I think we overcomplicate it a lot.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just believe with our hearts and confess with our mouth. And that's it.
That's it.
I mean, that's not.
Uh,
It's a hard thing to do to carry it out each day, but it's easy to start the process.
right.
There we go.
But,
And to
like, to know that you can have, like, knowing how heavy this world is, and to not having hope, and to know, like, hey, there's somebody out there that's gonna help you through this, can carry you through it.
mhm.
You're gonna feel the fire sometimes, right?
Right. Yeah.
But there's hope, and He's gonna provide for you, and He's gonna one day gonna make everything go away, and all you have to do is let Him. And I'm saying that like it's an easy thing. Like yes, it's physical. Like it's like there's not a huge drawn out process. Like you don't have to go do this step and then do this step and then oh by the way you got to do this. No, you just got to let Him.
Surrender.
And then you got to try and try and try and work and work and work, but not like I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, but like
No.
it's you want to work to keep like because you're gonna get like we talked about earlier, you're gonna get hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
But just know when that happens, you're gonna have help
Yeah, and hope.
and hope. And I know we've said that word about 100 times now.
Well, that's all we got in this world is hope.
Yeah. So that's like, and you had mentioned it like, when people say they're not gonna do it, they're gonna wait until they get things right. Like, please don't do that.
Yeah, that's always just been the craziest thing to me. If you know anything about the Bible, like we know that God could literally split the sky right now and
Yeah.
call us home, or we could die, or
Yeah.
whatever. There's no time.
And that's something that I've been thinking. I think about quite often actually, and I know people like look down on it. Like you don't like. I've been thinking about like death. Like I have a family now, and so like if I was to die tomorrow or whatever may happen, like what then? Like what? But I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm okay with facing that and knowing that could happen. I don't know how many times. Like obviously, like almost everybody can speak for this. Like an instance where something unexpected happens or way too soon somebody passes away. So the whole thing of waiting, like, what are you waiting for? You don't have a timeline here on this earth.
We don't. Yeah, we don't know our timeline.
So why not right now? Right now, you can have hope.
Mm-hmm.
You can have peace. You can have love. That is not going to be found in this world. And because, if you were to leave this world and not have that, not have Jesus Christ in your life, it's heartbreaking.
Well, yeah. Now you're stuck with an eternity. Not only unmeasurable suffering, but just never having.
Right.
You can never get that. Receive that love. I mean, you
Now is the time. And that's why I want to do this. I know everybody has people that they love and know like you like that's why I want to make this known. Like it's right now. We have right now. We don't always have tomorrow. We don't always have the next 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have right now. The present is a gift. So please just know that, whatever you're going through, it can all be changed right now. Okay.
I just want to throw this in there. If there's anyone listening that needs help or needs someone to talk to, don't hesitate to look us up on Facebook or something like that. Cody Harrison or Dalen Harrison, shoot us a message. We'll do what we can. Yeah, it's an important matter. Don't don't go through it alone. Even if we're strangers to you, please reach out.
So I want to ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
Why do you think that it is always looked down upon? Like, because like I know if I was to talk to somebody and be like, hey, I might die tomorrow. They'd be like, oh, don't think like that. Don't say that. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think it's just because.
I, right. I know.
So if it's family, it's like, well, don't say that. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to be here without you.
Right.
I deal with death a lot differently than a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the outside looking in, I probably look cold. But serious, I've even been called cold. But if some of my family dies and they're a believer, like yeah, it's sad not to have them here, but they're not battling the devil every single day now.
Or the pain, or whatever.
They don't have the constant choices of, yeah, I mean, they're just in a better, they are or will be in a better place with God and His presence.
And I get it. Like, I'm not saying like obviously like it's something that you don't necessarily like thinking about, but it's real and it happened.
Yep.
But it's not the end. It doesn't have to be.
No, that's right.
Like it's just something that's like just wow. You know, it's gonna be something that cannot be described. You know, it's anyways. I just wanted to ask you that, and I also wanted to say like whatever situation you're going through, like you know, you read the Bible and you see all the things God has done, right? And we think of it like that as past tense, right? All the things He did. You know, He healed the blind, He healed the sick, and made the lame walk, and He did all these things. And it's like we don't think He can still do that. Like it's like we're like, you know what I mean? Like it's
We kind of put God in a box, or
yeah.
just like the Bible is just like it's easy to look at as history because we don't. Yeah, it's hard to understand.
It's hard because it's like we might not see that exact same like thing.
Yeah.
But I promise you, you serve that same God. I promise you, He is still capable. Absolutely. Of no matter the sickness, no matter what situation, He is still capable. Whether it's through, and I think He does this too in a different way. Like back then, you know, we saw Him directly do these things.
Yeah.
I still believe He can do. I still believe He can do those things, but maybe He's like whether it's through medicine, maybe it's through you know what I mean. Maybe it's through something that we got in this world now that like when you get sick and there's this medicine and it helps. Why is that not God? Why are we not giving God the credit for that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I still believe like that's God, and I still also believe too if He wanted to, the next morning you could wake up and it's like the doctor's gonna be, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know what happened.
I've heard a few accounts of stuff like that lately.
So that's what I want to end this on. Is just when you go out into this world and just take with you in this moment that you serve that same God. God is capable. God is still here, and God is still working. And He's working on you. He's working on me, and He's not done with us.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. You want to pray?
Yeah, you go ahead this time.
Okay. Heavenly Father, God, we just thank You for this day, and we thank You for letting us be here together, God, and to bring Your word, God. And I just pray, God, that whoever, you know, is listening to this, God, whoever it may be, God, just I pray that Your words sink into them, God, and I pray that You could hide us behind You and just I pray, God, that we can do this to serve You and to help people come to know You and Your love and Your peace, God, and the gifts that You give to us and the blessings and the things that You offer us cannot be matched by this world. And I just pray that we can go out into this world and live a life for You because You have given us absolutely everything and even more. God, we just love You and we pray for safety and healing over this world and the people listening to this. Father, we love You and thank You in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on The Broken Road.
Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. John 14:27.